is Danyang Li. So my final project topic is different decision-making models. So the modeling study topic I'm going to present is the decision-making models. There are various decision-making models in any business organizations, and lots of resources are involved. In this paper, I will list several types of model. They are rational model, normative model, administrative model, and ethical model. So I will make analysis of each of them and give an example with some real-life use cases and compare them. So the background of this modeling study is there are many situations we need to make decisions, and especially some of them are only given limited time to apply the policy and the rules in the business field. So at this point, formulate the decision making and make it easier will increase the profitabilities of the problem. The reference I choose is this paper. The name of this paper is Study and Analysis of Various Decision-Making Models in Organization. So in this paper, it categorized the process of decision-making models and provide a significant reason why the decision-making is very important and list the characteristics of the proper decision-making models, then provide 4 types of the decision-making models, and give analysis of each of them. But there are some weakness of this paper. It is lacking the real use case. So for my analysis, I will give some real example to do more analysis for the decision-making model topics. So for the first one, the rational decision model, that is typically to analysis historical decisions. It assumes the decision-making is a rational person whose goal is to utilize the decision. And below, I will introduce the key concept of this model with an example. So what are the steps with a real example? The first step should be identify the problem. Like a family is growing and need more space buying a big house. The cause of the decision is need more space, and there are also some other options can solve that. That is through some unneeded stuff or build a new room. So the second step is identify the decision criteria. So for this example, that is time and cost. The third step is give weight of the criteria. So we can give a scale from 1 to 10. The fourth step is generate alternatives. For this one we have already mentioned, like throw some stuff, build another room. Then the step will be the evaluations. So I create a table to compute the expected value, and I give the total sum of the 3 criteria are 1, and the corresponding value is for the long-term solution is 0.6, for time is 0.3, for cost is 0.1. So and list 4 alternatives, sort them with a scale 1 to 4. You can see the process from this table, and then get the result. Then we can make decisions. Based on this table, we can see that buying a new house get a 2.2 score 2.2, that it has the least value, is the best option among those 4. So there also have some drawback for this model. The biggest one is it's rather limited for not taking into consideration of some aspects like the accidents, internal politics, or emotions. And this decision is only made by the leader, so the effectiveness mostly rely on the cognitive abilities of the leader. So the next model I will going to introduce is a normative model. So that is a decision making that a leadership model helps managers to decide to which degree their team members should participate in the decision making process. Uh, so this model contains 5 different strategies. The first one is called A1. The manager the manager makes his decision alone. The second one is called consult individuals. The manager presents a problem to the individual team and collect individual feedback and make decision. The third one is consult group. Uh, like um, the manager gathering everyone and ask what the team member wants, but until the team member gets agreement, we cannot make the decision. Another strategy is facilitations. So the manager presents a problem in a team meeting, acting as a facilitator with the goal of reaching a unified decision as a team. The final is the delegate. The manager gave the right to the team to make the decision, and his job is only to provide the resource. So among this strategy, we can see that is there are 2 focus you can choose from. One is the team participation, and the other one is central power. So that is the key point for this model. And if you choose to give the central power to the manager to make the decision, that the manager must have a sufficient knowledge and the team is likely to support the decision. And if you choose the team participant, more focus on the team participate, the team that need the team member possess the required knowledge, and the teamwork is efficient. So the next model is administrative model. So this model it's like many people will consider all possible alternatives before making the decision. But what if our rationality is limited? At this time, the administrative model will play an important role. So, if I give you an example to explain more about this model, it's like Sunday noon, you suddenly realize have an invitation tonight to your friend housewarming party, but you totally forgot to buy him any present. So if you realize it early, you may spend the whole Sunday to browsing the gift, but you have a limited time and options. So you rush to the nearest market and grab the first gift you think is match your friend's interest and run to your friend's party. Because the time is limited, so the gift is maybe it's not the best one, but probably but is the most satisfied one under this extreme situation. So that is the meaning of them and the administrative model of decision making. The drawback is very obvious, so you cannot consider all of the alternatives. So you can only get maybe a good enough options, but it but it also have some advantage that it saves a lot of time and cost. To So there are some professional terms involved in this decision model. The economy man, that is the decision maker. The administrator one, that is taking into consideration all possible criteria and evaluate all possible alternatives. The organizational perspectives. The next model is as ethical model. So ethical model. So the best example for this one is the nursing. It encounters the different situation constantly, and there is some principle they must need to follow. The first one for the nursing, the first one is autonomy. So the nurses must give patients the right to decide their own treatment. And another one is non-malfeasance. That means nurses should identify both benefits and risk of the medical treatment options. There is very outstanding examples for this decision-making model. There is a 2-year-old child had a ear infection. In 9 months, the nurse recommend that to do a surgery and to place ear tubes to prevent further infection, but the parents refused to do that. So now the child has been diagnosed by the nurse with another ear infection. So how the nurse could use the step of the model to deal with this problem? The step one is there a concern with everyone cannot agree on a solution. Yes, the parents are not willing to initiate a surgery and nurse ethical practice principles, which require consideration of treatment. Step two, who is involved, what is the concern, and when is the decision needed. The parents and the child will be involved. The conflict is the parents have the right to make decision, but it's important to act quickly to reduce the child's hearing loss and refuse the recommended treatment. The next step, what professional standard associates with this issue? The nurse has a standards require them to protect the child's well-being. The nurse also have the expertise in this situation and knows the multiple ear infection are dangerous. Next step, what are the patient's principle and the own value related to the situation? The parents have the right to refuse the surgery because they have read some relevant article about a similar experience on the internet and afraid the treatment will have a bad effect for the child, especially the use of the use of this. And next step, review everyone's aims, desires, wanted outcome, and emotions regarding the scenario. At the office visit, the parents meet with the nurse to discuss the procedure of the tube placements in the ears. The parents verbalize the concern about surgery for the child. Next step is their framework that is acceptable. The family and the nurse approaching the dilemma with open attitude and being mindful of outcomes and consequences. Next step is there a potential solution that all can agree to. The parents and nurse can sit together to discuss a possible solution, and the family can also meet with the surgeon to discuss about the procedure. And it also will be helpful if the family can have a talk with the other patient with the similar experience. So after those analysis for those four decision-making models, my conclusion is every looks like every model has its drawbacks, and for the rational decision model, the focus will be the quality of the decision makers. Decision strongly related to the leader's cognitive abilities, and it did not take any consideration of the emotions. And for the normative model, we need to choose between the central power and team participation to make the final decisions. And for the administrative model, it is a quick call and did not consider all the alternatives and just a good enough option. So same like the ethical decision is like make decision making like the paper I refer to conclude it's the most effective one because it's linked to the performance of an organization. It is a complete analysis of a logical procedure, and it have several benefits like improved operation, increased commitment of employees. So it's the best value to attract other market and potential profit. So here is the reference I used in this paper. That's all from my presentation of my final paper.